What is up, YouTube? What is up? Welcome to another call on Tyrone. I'm here with my boy Vlad. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good about y'all.
Doing good, doing good. trying to get, trying to getting ready into this game. Getting into this game Sunday, man. Getting into the mood. We gotta come out 7-7 or 6-7. I mean 6-8. So I mean, and we still might still be in the playoff hunt, which is ridiculous. But shout out everybody in the comments. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, I guess we can get into to matchups on this game. We're going to San Francisco, 4 o'clock game. Of course, time change, all of that. But this is a game for us where it's like we need to win this game. We got to win this game. You don't win this game, you have a little bit of a you can kind of sort of kiss your playoff hopes away. You can say it like that if we don't win. But I think this game in all is going to be a good game. I think that people aren't gonna. I think people are underestimating this game because these two teams aren't at the fullest, fullest of hell, fullest of all of, But you still got Debo Samuel, who in his right is one of the better receivers in this league. You get to
That's
see
that's
Jimmy
one of
G.
that's
I
one of my
mean,
key matchups for this
yeah,
game.
yeah. I think for D, I think I'll go into. I guess I'll cover quarterback coverage. Yeah, I'll go with some quarterback stuff. Um, like Blake said, we always beat Shanahan. We beat Shanahan the last couple times we played him. Um, I think Matt versus Garoppolo. I'll start off with that one. Matt we all know Matt's a better quarterback. We really have to question that, but I think this game is going to be based on O line slash D line matchups. Because we know Dante Fowler is going to basically be. I hope he's on the right side. I hope he's not on Trent Williams' side. I hope he's on the opposite side. Ogun Desi still. Either one, you kind of sort of want to play that matchup because I don't feel like their other tackle isn't as well ventured as Trent Williams. And so I kind of sort of want that matchup. Hey, Miss Asia, how you doing? I think we go. I think line wise, we have a good, I mean a great, not even a good chance, a great chance of having a not giving up a sack. D Ford's hurt. Nick Bosa has like so many quarterback hits, and then the rest of them have nine. Nine, like Nick Bosa is their main source, basically. So what do you for you? You're gonna talk about the wide receiving core and all about that. But for me, I just think that we literally last week didn't give up a sack to the fourth best team, and in the fourth, like they have the fourth most sacks in the league, and we didn't give up a sack.
Speaking of linemen and not giving up sacks, Lindstrom is only one of 7 linemen in the league right now that hasn't allowed a sack this season.
She just crazy, and his brothers, and we have a little bit of we always take McGarry, but this line has shored up, and we were saying this on our other couple of shows. I was saying like the line's going to shore up. It was going to take some time, but we knew this line was going to shore up. We have the right coaching staff in. Arthur Smith wasn't going to allow them to not shore up, and not let them get better results. That's
See,
why I appreciate I appreciate him as a lineman. We saw him in training camp going around with the old lineman, making sure they were straight before he was with
mhm.
the receiver. So yeah,
The thing about this line, especially McGarry, is his question marks were never really about his run blocking. His run blocking was always been really good. Like, I won't say really good, but it's been acceptable. The biggest thing with him though has been his pass blocking. Like this last game, he only got like a 31 or something like PFF grade on his pass blocking. But I think what kind of the thing about this system though is the way Arthur Smith likes to run the ball. I think it can kind of mask that deficiency as long as because if you noticed, this team has like it's like a night and day change when the O line started actually like properly blocking and opening these holes. I
yeah,
mean, they've had over 100-yard games 3 games in a row, and the offense has mostly clicked. Um, and it all comes back to the run game because it's like that's where Arthur Smith kind of predicates his whole offense is based on that. So I think McGarry, honestly, necessarily wouldn't be as big of a liability if the team's ahead, but the second they have to start throwing the ball, 20, 30, 40 times a game, then it becomes an issue. So I'm not
Yeah,
like I'm kind of like torn on McGarry, honestly.
I think he's the he and it's funny. What's going on, Eric? How you doing? Blake, we're on AFN too. We're on Atlanta Falcons. We're on both. We're on FILA and we're on Atlanta Falcon Nation. We're on both channels. Actually, no, we're on Matt Mike's channel right now. What it do? What's going on, Eric? I think no. I think the thing with our O line is that McGarry had the health problems. That was another thing that we kind of sort of didn't like. I put it like that. We were like, ooh, McGarry. The heart problems, and then he didn't get to practice half of the postseason. And then you get to go into now. I think now it's kind of sort of a thing where he shored up throughout the season. Run blocking, the thing is crazy is that run blocking, we're really good. Everybody on this team is really good. Run blocking wise on the O line. Pass blocking has been, but look at the colleges these guys have come out of. All of these guys are run blocking schools. Michigan, we see what Michigan has done these last couple of years, just been running. I mean, running at everybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you go Boston College is running school. Where's McGarry from? He's from another. I think most of them are. No, where's he from?
Washington.
Was it Washington? Oh, I have to see. It's a West Coast school. If we're talking about what's his name, we know it's a West Coast school. Dimentrov, because he was a West Coast lover more than anything. Let's gotta find it. He's from Washington. I think it probably would be Washington. Yeah, Washington. He went to Washington, and they run the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, these guys they come from running schools. So I mean, we're gonna
Honestly,
have anything.
I think McGarry gets a lot of heat because we did trade up for him. Like if we had got him in like the second round or like the third round or something, I think people will be way more forgiving. But it's the fact that the other regime traded up for him to get him is really what kind of the crux of everybody's hate towards him. And I get it. Did give assets for him, but at the same time, like I was saying, in this system, I think he'll be fine as long as we can keep establishing the run game.
Yeah, that's the thing about all our guys now. Just being able to run the ball has helped a lot. Like I think when we weren't able to run the ball, that's the part that that would make this O line look so bad. When you gotta pass the ball 20, 30 times a game, and it's the same thing if you look at Georgia, really anything, really any SEC school linemen, when they gotta go to a pass first team, that's not what they're used to. I mean, SEC people, SEC linemen, and most colleges are running RPO.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when you run RPO, your first read is run. So they're most usually run. Pass blocking is unless it's a sure third down and 20, like third down and 10 or something, they're going to pass the ball. So that's the thing about it. Is that we have to in our minds be like, okay, this is going to be a very good, pass team. I mean, this team's gonna be a very good running team coming down the line. But pass wise, I mean, you can't really say much about it. Like it's gonna take time to have pass protection, and that goes on the
Well,
running backs as well. That goes on the lineman. That goes on your center.
it's
Pass
it
protection is very hard when you're not really used to it.
the thing about it too is and most of the time, and unless you get extremely lucky, you're really not going to be able to find those linemen that can do both exceptionally well unless you're like Evan Neal or somebody like you're spending like that premium pick on a lineman. But most of the time when you do that, you're spending that on the left tackle. So it's like you have to basically then this goes back to like being sound in your actual foundation as a coach is you have to go and actually are you structurally sound in your system, and then you build your linemen around that system. And Arthur Smith is a huge believer in running the ball. Thus is why we have the linemen we do. So you can get those players that can do both, but it's really rare. So, like I was saying, you have to kind of pick your poison. And as long as this team is at least semi in the game, and they're not having to throw the ball 40 times a game, It's an actual real effective scheme, and you can really dissect any scheme in the NFL, and it all has its kryptonite. It's just this system just so happens to be, if you're playing from behind, it kind of exposes your line, which get your quarterback killed.
Yeah, really and truly, yeah. This goes back to the last show we did, and you remember we talked about Hennessy versus Dolman, and we saw it. We've seen it 2 weeks since we did our last show. We've seen it, and I would go back to saying Hennessy has that job. Hennessy's not gonna lose that job because you can see Dolman and you see how he's moving around. You're like, because last show was before the Tampa game, and we saw him drop the snap twice, and we were like, at the 1 yard line, he dropped the snap.
That killed me.
He's done it twice because he's not good in the red zone. Because when we played Philly, when he was at guard, he was the one that got us that holding call. So he's not gonna lose that. He's not gonna lose his job. Tennessee's not gonna lose his job because he's developed into a really good center. He's developed into a really good center, and I appreciate him for that because he could have just turned out horrible.
From the outside, you played centers, so from the outside looking in, it seems like the one thing as a center that will drive a coach insane is a botched snap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you gonna get cussed out on the sideline.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you this. If you're nervous, like this is the thing. If you're nervous and you hear a lot of crowd noise and something, this is why you see a lot of missed snaps. Crowd noise is really big when you play certain games. If you're playing, you doing a game and all you hear is people screaming, yelling, and then you hear people clapping and you think it's your quarterback clapping, or you think you hear somebody scream Hunter or something like that, like screaming, you don't know what they're saying. You snap the ball and he's not ready for it. He's dropping the ball goes over his head because he's not expecting it. It's stuff like that where your crowd noise comes into effect. And if you're a young center, my sophomore year, I can speak this really when I started varsity my sophomore year. I was not the best center. I really shouldn't even start in varsity because my nerves, you can tell. We had one game and my nerves, you can tell when the nerves take over a center because you get antsy. You'll start snapping the ball fast. You'll start trying to move faster, especially if you're running. You got a 300-pound man in front of you and you a sophomore and you're not used to that. And you trying to get to block him, and you hear the quarterback saying a word, and you just throw the ball back there. That's the thing that's the difference between not McGear. That's the difference between Hennessy and Dolman. Hennessy has got that in him. He's gotten that veteranism in him. Dolman doesn't have that yet. Dolman is a great zone blocker, but he doesn't have the centerness in him yet.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, as much as it sucks that he botched that snap, the botched those snaps, it still gives him that in game. Like you can't replace that just like a live game, play. So getting those butterflies worked out of him is, especially for a center, key because he ain't got time to feel any type of way. He's got to get his calls out. He's got to snap the ball. He's got to get on to his man or whatever. So I think Dolman will be a good center. It's going to take him maybe a season or two to kind of, because 290 is way too light for a center in the NFL. Like he needs to be at least like 310. And I think his athleticism could support that like really well. Like 310, 320. And then, that way he can get off that ball and then use his athleticism and kind of, use that kinetic force from the extra weight and then the athleticism to kind of move players. So I think, he needs a little bit more time to build on that and then build his strength up, his play strength. And I think, honestly, he knows the playbook pretty well. It's just like you said, I think the butterflies and the noise and everything got to him, which,
you see Allison needs to protect the ball. Yeah. I think that's another thing. Allison just got hit in the right. He got hit in the right spot at the right time, though. He got hit right in the elbow. And that was, I mean, you get hit in the elbow with a helmet and try to hold the ball as tight as you possibly can and see if it don't pop out. Like, I mean, he got hit at the right moment, at the right time. It was a scary play. I know everybody was heart dropped because we was like, oh my God, it's the Atlanta curse coming back. But no, think about last week's game and just to go over a quick little review. You can give your opinion. We just dominated that game. Really and truly, we really just dominated that game. We gave up. The only reason they scored so many points is because of special teams. We gave up. We give up I don't know what Frank Darby was doing on that hit. On the punt, and then you get the kicking out of bounds, trying to coffin corner. And so that's the thing about it. It's just like those are 2 touchdowns we gave them.
Mm-hmm.
You get them the ball at the 40, basically at midfield, they're going to score. Most teams are going to score unless their defense is, shut down and you can afford stuff like that. We can't afford stuff like that.
The most impressive thing about this game definitely was the O-line because, Carolina's rush isn't no joke. I think they're ranked 4th in the NFL.
Fourth in sacks.
So it's like to actually shut them down like that was extremely impressive to me. And that just kind of goes back to establishing that run. You get that run game going, and it kind of takes away their edge players, which was key to that game.
Yeah, I mean, we needed that, like you said. Mm-hmm. We needed that really and truly. Somebody likes your cat, Vlad. I love your cat.
His name's Boots.
Yeah. Oh, that works. Perfect name.
He's got four little white paws.
I can really feel it. Yeah. Okay. So we know that we don't lose. Yeah, that's true. I don't think we've lost it. I don't think we've been swept by the Panthers in a long time. I don't even remember us getting swept. We have never getting since I've watched football. I've never
even in 2015 we didn't get swept.
No, and that was they went 15-1, and that one team they lost to was Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's stuff like that when you're like, okay, we just have the number versus, and we really should have been 2-0. I think I'll put it like this. I understand the NFL. And then when to play, all the rivalry games in one weekend, and then go a couple end games in between with the different rivals, and then coming back to them. But remember the schedule we used to have when it was like 2 weeks apart, and you played them again. That was a fun schedule, and it was at the end of the season, mind you. It was like week 14 and week 16. He was playing the Saints, so I mean stuff like that because we don't play the Saints for another And I'm just not like I'm scared. I hope we sweep them. Since 2013,
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. There's 2 things in this season that I'm still hoping for. One, I want to see us finish. I want to see us sweep the Saints. I don't care if we're like 0-16 or whatever. Like I want to see us like destroy the Saints every game, right? And then the second thing I'm looking at is Kyle Pitts. He's so close to that 1,000 yards. I just want to see him get that 1,000 yards because that would be such a massive boost to our already exceptional player.
Yeah, he gets 1,000 yards. He's in a way of being rookie of the year, and I think people don't understand. At least offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah,
we know who's going to win defensive rookie of the year because
the thing about Parsons, people are like, our biggest. I saw this on Facebook, and I'm like, man, people are dumb. Like they were saying, our biggest miss was, in 2021 when we passed on Mike Parsons and blah 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 blah. I'm like, do you really think Parsons? Like, I'm keep it 100 here. Do you really think Parsons would have been that good on this line with nobody out there like to help him? Really, it would have. I feel it would have been Kyle Pitts 2.0. Like everybody would just put attention on him, and he wouldn't be able to get what he was getting, like he is in Dallas.
Yeah, I'll put it like this. Let's say we would have got Micah Parsons at 4. All right. So you get Micah Parsons at 4. It really doesn't do you good to get Micah Parsons at 4 because okay, you get Micah Parsons, he doesn't have any help. Look at what that does to Matt though. Because who's been Matt's safety valve? Matt's safety valve has been Kyle Pitts. So you take away, the main safety valve he has this year. and you give him a defensive player, what is he gonna do with that? We didn't imagine if Calvin Ridley was to pull out this season, and still, even if we would have took Micah Parsons, let's say he still pulled out. Then what? Who does he have? Russell Gage, the key is Tajay Sharp, and who was our Lee Smith, Hayden Hurst? Like, dude, he doesn't
Darby, you know.
Yeah, like Darby's gonna have to play at that point. So, like, let's think about that. Like, it's not we got the right person in at the right time. You had to have building pieces. Like I saw somebody say, no, let's go ahead and get what is it he said? Let's cut Grady Jarrett or let's cut Dion. And I'm like, we have to have building pieces. If you cut Grady Jarrett, you're gonna first off, dead cap's gonna be ridiculous. Then if you cut Dion, dead cap, even trade Dion, 15 million in dead cap. And we're only gonna have 20 something in dead cap. So why would you do that? Like it doesn't make sense. Any of these trade scenarios or the cutting players and getting rid, it doesn't make sense because why? I'm gonna tell you why Tajay Sharp has having a good season is because he catches the ball over the middle, and Matt doesn't throw the ball over the middle because a lot of people blitzing us, and he's been the main ones that has been able to catch over the middle because we know somebody. I'm not gonna talk about him. I hope he's doing better. But he doesn't like to get hit and get cuts over the middle. So that's why Tajay Sharp he's gotten a lot more targets. Because I mean, let's be honest, he's the biggest receiver we have. So
that was always my biggest gripe with Ridley, even when he was playing, is he was so scared of contact. I'm like, you're playing football, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of part of the game. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get hit. Like you can't be playing scared. That's how you get hurt, you know?
We are, but the funny part about it is like we know that, and he just I don't know, man. It just feels like he doesn't go after it, and that's what you kind of sort of want to see, but it doesn't seem like he does it at all.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's the thing about Ridley. That's one of the main things when I say that Ridley just doesn't fit this scheme. That's one of the main things that kind of sticks out to me when I watch him is the fact that he shies away from physicality. Like in this system, Arthur Smith wants you to go up over the middle and make those contested catches. And if you're scared to get hit, you can't really be going in the middle like that because, kind of opens you up to both sides of the field at that point, So you can't be playing scared in this system as a receiver.
At this point right now, Gage, you can see Gage's confidence coming out. Like you get to see a little bit more Russell Gage's confidence come out, which I enjoy. You get to see it. You get to see Gage being Gage again, right? You get to see him being, even though he's not, the number 3, but when he used to have those big games, you're like, man, look at Gage go. That is kind of sort of what it looks like he's turning into again, and that's scary in a playoff push to see Gage getting confident. And Tajay Sharp is everybody's getting more and more confident, and then seeing this defense, this old line develop and starting in a run game. Yeah, Sunday is such an important game.
The thing about Russell Gage is this goes back to the whole Parsons thing. Like when you're sitting at 4, there was no better player in this draft than Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. Like period. And the reason I say that is because when teams see Kyle Pitts, when he ate up Miami and ate up who else was it? Because he got like $160 on Miami, and teams are like, whoa, we can't be having that. So they started doubling and tripling him way more because they've seen that Miami game and seen what he did to them. But Russell Gage's success was a byproduct of these defensive coordinators directing so much attention towards Kyle Pitts. It opens up these one-on-ones with like your third or fourth, corner on their roster. And, that's basically Russell Gage's lane right there is going up against these, third and fourth, corners. Cause he's not a number 1. He's not even a number 2. He's a solid number 3. So the Jets, that's what it was. But
so the Jets, he had 119, and then Miami, he had $163.
Yep.
So he's had a great game. That's why I say there's no other way you don't take him.
Mm-hmm.
you don't take him in at number 4. There was no other picks. You can't even say Parsons was the pick there. And then we didn't know what Parsons was gonna have because we all know his story at Penn State about all of that stuff, and he got suspended, and we were like, what we've seen is that we don't take a lot of chances on a lot of if you have a college, if you really notice over these last couple of years, now it might change, but a lot of times we don't take these guys that were in college that had problems.
The thing about it is like, money's kind of a crazy thing because like it could change you for the better, and I think that might be what Parsons was like. And man, I'm in here making millions right now. I ain't about to mess this up, for nobody.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that's what Parsons did. Is he's seen that like this is real, this is really happening. I'm really getting paid. I'm not about to mess this up in no shape, form, or fashion. I'm going out here and getting this money. And that's kind of how I feel like Parsons he kind of came off like that. Like when reality set in and he realized that it's really going down, I think it really settled him down. And even what happened, like, I always thought it was like, it's just a college kid doing stupid college stuff. Like there ain't no red flags there really. Like it was like the whole thing with what's his name? They got called out for smoking weed on draft night. The left tackle that was from Miami.
Yeah, I can't even think of his name. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, that was stupid. I'm like, man, I would have hopped all over that pick if I was picking before 12 because that would have been no concern of mine. Like no concern to me at all. That's just you got to learn to like these coaching staffs really have to learn to decipher between what really is an issue and what's just some BS basically.
Yeah. See, I like that. We take chances. I can see like we take chances I say in general, like on the field, but off the field, if there's an off the field issue, we kind of sort of stay away from that. Which college kid stuff is different. Like, I mean, to the pros and you do stuff like that, then that's when you get really don't get no looks. But college, like you said, college stuff is different. Like you a college kid, you're gonna do dumb stuff. Like you said, what is his name? Oh, I can't think of his name. The lineman. But yeah, like you said with him.
Jeremy Tunsil or something like that.
Tunsil. It was Tunsil. Yeah, it was Tunsil. You seen that with him and you were like, ooh, like you didn't want him to, it hit, remember, because it was weird because he kept dropping after the video came out. He just kept dropping. You were like, why are you dropping?
Well, it's like like he got caught smoking weed. Who gives a damn?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's like some like domestic violence situation that happened, then that's way more suspect at that point.
Yeah, I mean, was it Gregory that Dallas took a chance on? And we knew what that was, and they still took a chance on him. You said, I want to go to this question. I don't think this, I'll put it like this. I know everybody wants to see Darby. I don't think Darby is going to play this season, but on special teams. Unless we just get, to the end of the road and we need to see him play live snaps. I think the confidence in our receiving core with the 4 guys we're playing now is kind of sort of what's pushing him back. Now, Cordell being unexpected, I think is another reason why. Because Cordell has now been in every position. Like he's played almost every position.
Yo, that safety snap he had me tripping. I'm like, is that Cordell back there?
Yeah, like I mean, so that's the thing about it. And I love like you said, he's a big dude. I love Darby being, give him it's some time, and we got 30 free agents next year, bro. Like you got to think we're gonna have to sign some of these guys back. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you can blame Mike Vick. Yeah, everybody we love him, but you can see why Arthur doesn't really take a chance with a lot of folks because that's the thing about all the money. We've had to deal with because of that. All the jokes, the Atlanta dog killers and all of that stuff. Like
that's an example of money changing you for the worse. Because everything I hear from all the reports and whatever, Mike Vick was kind of an asshole, to be real.
And that's not surprising. Lama, Tajay Gage, and CP have done. I say that they have done enough to where Darby, because mind you, we still got Blake sitting there. Blake hasn't played. I mean, like, so we got guys. These are only thing I have a problem with these guys that they get jammed off the line too hard. Like when they get jammed on the line, they're jammed, and you might as well forget about the play because you ain't gonna give me get it all. And
Yeah,
so a
Matt.
lot of plays we saw versus Tennessee. I mean, not Tennessee, Carolina last week. The flea flicker play, stuff like that. Guys getting jammed off the line, messing up basically the play, having the play, develop too slow. Um, let's go Falcons playoff. Man, if we make the playoffs, it's gonna be a party.
Uh,
I really am proud of Arthur Smith though.
uh,
Um,
if you look at the talent deficient, see to put that in context of how impressive that is. If you look at the actual talent deficiency on this team, there was a chart. I can't remember who posted it, but it basically ranked the talent levels in every team. The Falcons are dead last in talent. Like Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot have literally took a stone and is squeezing blood out of it. Like they have done an exceptional job. Like Arthur Smith has had like his growing pains as a coach and these questionable calls that kind of was like, okay, what was he thinking there? But like that's kind of common for a first year coach because he's never been in that situation. But for what he's done and what Dean Pease is, especially Dean Pease is like for what he like. This organization literally handed him like a bunch of like empty like shrimp shells and said, "Make me a cocktail." You feel me?
yeah.
Like he's done his best with what he had. So like this coaching staff has like thoroughly impressed me this year for what they had to work with.
I put it like this: 0%, 0.0% help for Matt Ryan. Defense marginally worse than last year's. Offense, marginally worse than last year's. Special teams been the same. Well, no, really, we done had to change punters at least 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
I
People
mean,
get so caught up. People get
all
so
of
caught.
them. Go ahead.
I was gonna say people get so caught up in like punter power, and I'm like honestly, accuracy matters more than power. Like power's one of them things. Like it's cool if you got it, but like can you put this ball in like the 10 for us and pop it out of bounds at the 10 or something?
Yeah, really and truly. And like Morstead, we've seen Morstead has had. I mean, these last couple of weeks, he's looked like an elite punter. But let's think about just going back about Arthur Smith, his whole year. Does Arthur Smith, if we finish above 500, does Arthur Smith, or even if we don't, if we finish at least, 9-7, would it be 9-7 or 9-6, something like that?
It'd be 9-7.
That's 17, so no, it's 9-8. It'd be 9-8.
9-8, yeah, the 9-8.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
So thing going back to 16 years. If we go 9-8, does Arthur Smith in himself deserve a coach of the year nod?
Me personally, knowing the talent on this team and what he's done with this talent, yes. Because there's no like we have the least amount of talent of any team in the NFL right now, like period. That alone, and then if he gets up to 9-8, yeah, like he should definitely be like a finalist in that conversation. Like it's crazy how much he's had the least amount of talent he's had to work with.
I put it. So how do we start? So the thing about them is that their Nick Bosa is literally their heart and soul on the D line at this because D4 is hurt. So you still have to worry about the linebackers. You still got to worry about those Frank Warner, all those guys. But I think for us, it's not. It's more of a how do you stop in a hole? Like how do you establish yourself? And the way you establish it is a play action offense.
Mm-hmm.
Make those linebackers step up before they do their pass drop. Make them come forward before they do their pass drop. Make them second guess themselves. Mind you, they're not coached by Robert Salah anymore, so they don't have that same type of discipline you would think they have. I think we in whole it's going to be a lot of play action this week. Get ready for on both sides, really and truly, because they both come. It's funny because they both come from the same tree. So get ready to see two of the offenses almost look exactly the same. The Shanahan tree is literally the Shanahan tree. They all kind of sort of run the same offenses. And we just have to watch and wait. That's the thing about it. Just watching and waiting, and you'll see it. I mean, the run game has to be efficient. Let's put it like that's how I say it. Your run game needs to be efficient versus San Francisco.
I think what you do is you shut down Nick Bosa by putting Smith over there and putting him over there, having like basically run these two tight end sets with Smith and Pitts. Put Smith over there to help block Bosa. Direct attention to Bosa with him, and then you basically make their linebackers man up with Pitts in the middle of the field, and you just eat them up with Pitts, just oversize them basically.
I mean that's the easiest way of going at it. If we go 9-8, he'll be in the running for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the top 3 player bar say he didn't want to play. Yeah, I mean, I want your opinion on this, Vlad. If Calvin wants to come back, how do you feel about
it? If Calvin wants to come back and he wants to play next year, I say you put him on the 5th-year option and you let him play. Because this is how I look at it. Worst case, he flops, doesn't do anything, and you're essentially in the same spot you're in right now, right? So you lose nothing. If he goes out and he balls out, then I'm looking like depending on how, like if he balls out like he did last year with like this, 1,400 something yards or whatever, I'll be like, hey, y'all want Calvin? That's going to be a first and like a third. We'll trade him. So like either way, I still would trade him, but like I said, I think it's because he just, like I said, he's not really, like I was saying, that possession receiver that Arthur Smith needs for this system to thrive. So to get this compensation, especially if he balls out right there, it would be a huge boon for this organization. So yeah, I'll let him come back. I'll let him play. Worst case, he doesn't do anything, and we release him because either way, I don't give him a second contract. He balls out, you trade him, and you get crazy comp picks, or not comp picks, but crazy draft picks. So either way, it's a win-win either way to have him come back, and it also establishes to your players as a head coach that we have your back. Like, look, we know life happens. And sometimes you have to take a step away from the game, but we got you. We'll give you that second chance to show us that, you're back, you're ready to go again. So it doesn't set this precipice of like, oh, if a player is having real life problems, we're just cutting ties with them, because players notice that. Like if they do that to Calvin, the whole team's on alert. They'll look at it like, well, what if something happens to me like that? Then I don't have a job now. So it's like. Yeah.
Any wide receiver, so fits the mold of. I say we probably won't get Drake London, but Drake London is one of the bigger ones.
I'll tell you a receiver that I would love to see them take like a shot on in like the 4th or 5th. He's actually had kind of a little bit of a injury history, but George Pickens out of Georgia.
That's so funny because I was like my second pick is gonna be George Pickens. George Pickens, because of the whole he tore his ACL in April, he didn't get to play this season. And y'all know I do Georgia stuff. That boy back.
Yo, he's a monster.
That boy is back. I mean, look at what his first play versus Alabama. His first catch versus Alabama was a moss. Like it wasn't like just normal. Like he threw the ball and he went and got it.
Oh, I had hit the TiVo on that a couple of times. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like that was crazy.
Top of them, man. I mean, like, and that's the thing about it. I think those are the two guys I really think of, and then a third one is going to be a guy out of a small school. I can't think anybody off rip because all the other receivers coming out this year are kind of sort of small. I mean, they're the prototypical is like Jared Judy or he needs his Batman. Yeah, I like that comparison. At best, I see Calvin Ridley as a 2. I don't think he's built to be a 1. He wasn't even the 1 at Alabama. So, I mean, that's the thing about it. What's good, Wallace? What's going on?
What's up,
who's the best passer in this year's draft? Aiden Hudson, Kevon Thibodeau, George
It's
Kalafdis, Jordan Davis. I mean, this is a defensive draft. I mean,
there's
if you're a defensive coordinator, let him draft this year. Don't even
there's
let your OC
20
look at it.
to give you to let you to give you an idea how like deep this edge rusher class is right now. There's literally 20 pass rushers in the top 100 players in this year's coming up. Like it's stacked. Like you could literally get a starter in like the third round.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. It's funny because you're like, okay, it's crazy because you never see this anymore. Like, and it's the top 100 is mostly edge rushers and like DBs and linebackers. Like your quarterbacks aren't even like top 10, bro. Most quarterbacks are lower than top 10. So
It's a bad year to need a quarterback. I'll tell you that.
yeah. Yeah, if you need a quarterback this year, it's you take him second round. I think the first round quarterback is gonna be Kenny Pickett. I think he's gonna go first round. I think somebody's gonna take a shot on Howell, and that's what's gonna make me laugh. Whoever takes a shot on Sam Howell is gonna make me laugh. Oh, it's
Yo,
gonna make me laugh.
how is like if he literally had the same like talent level at any other position, he would be he would barely be in the conversation for a second rounder. But the fact that he plays quarterback is what's boosting him.
Yeah,
He's a second rounder at best. Like
and he's a second rounder at best. But we know somebody's gonna give a first round pick on him. And my prediction is the Giants. I think the Giants are gonna go after him.
I'm gonna laugh.
I think this is how I see it. You got four quarterbacks that are sure first and second rounders. You got Carson Strong at Nevada. Malik Willis is gonna go first and second round because he's actually really good. I think
The only way I've heard a lot of people say like they meant to cut you off, but you said Malik Willis, and out of every quarterback I've watched so far in this draft, he's probably my favorite, and he's not a first rounder in my opinion. Like if like let's say for example we trade back and like with the Browns or something, and get like a second rounder, like it's I was talking to Tyrone off of before the stream, and I was saying like if one of those top three pass rushers doesn't fall to us, that we should like trade back with like the Browns and like grab like Jordan Davis at that point. And like a lot of people are really high on Davis, but these teams look at nose like Vita Vea went like was it like 12th?
yeah,
Right?
he's one of the highest drafted ones. Him and I think Wilford went up tied too. Well, I think he was he 12 or all I remember is that I think that was the year we got Calvin. I was so mad that we didn't get Vita Vea that year. I was so mad because he was projected to drop all the way down to Atlanta, and then out of nowhere he just went to Tampa. I was so aggravated. But yeah, I think
But what I'm getting at is the nose tackle. It's one of them positions that like it's key, but these teams prioritize like corners and edge rushers and just all these pass rushers and whatnot. Like these dirty work players, you can get one of these exceptionally good dirty work type of players, like a nose tackle that do all the dirty work and open everybody else up in that middle round. So it's like, like I said, if one of the top three pass rushers was gone, trade back with the Browns to 17, you pick up Davis right there, get an extra second round pick. And then I could see maybe the Falcons like popping that extra second round pick on like Malik Willis if he's there in the second round, just to have somebody to develop.
Yeah. So, but like I said, the only four I trust, and it's funny because I know Sam Howell's probably gonna. If Sam Howell doesn't go first, what's his name? Corral. I think Corral is gonna come out this year because he has such a good year. We know Pickett's coming out, and Kenny Pickett he's a good quarterback. He don't get me wrong, but I just don't trust him in the NFL level.
Malik Willis is my top guy.
I'm not gonna lie. I want Kenny Pickett to go to Pittsburgh. I want him to go to the Steelers. I think that would just be the perfect spot for him because that team is just built. If you look at how they built the team, he's gonna fit in perfectly in Pittsburgh.
That does sound like a Mike Tomlin type of pick. I'm not even gonna lie. And like
you got to think about that. Like, man, he's gonna. I want to go to this. He said trade Calvin for depth. I'm not trading him for depth. I'm trading him for capital. I'm telling you, like you can say that's depth for draft capital. Somebody's gonna want to probably give up a player in that draft for some money reasons, but no, I would just definitely say just give me of like 2 seconds or something like that. Give me something comparable. Like I picked him at 18, and he's actually had productive years. He just had one bad year. Give me something. Look at his career overall in general, and give me something to match that. Don't give me off of something this year.
Well, like you could take a second and like look, we got Oliver in the second, right? And he's been a shutdown slot this year before he got hurt. So it's like those are the kind of players that are your backbone of your team. Like you need those like very good players, like because there's only like a handful of like stars in the NFL. There's only like like a handful of like Aaron Donalds and J.J. Watts when he was in his prime, Von Miller's when he was in his prime. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like one or two of those players, but the majority of your team are built off those second round backbone players that are just really good at what they do.
Those like good at what they do. Like, and I will tell you guys this: watch whatever they have in Mobile. I don't care what if you have NFL Network, sit down and watch what's going on in Mobile because we drafted at least was
it was like 4 players out of there,
4 or 5 players.
Yeah,
we're at the Senior Bowl. So and I think the cool thing about this Senior Bowl though is that you got big names. It's not like these like guys that you like. Okay, you got Malik Willis is gonna be there. I don't know if Kenny's gonna go. But I know what's his name. You'll have Cook there. You'll have Cook Will's brother there. You'll have Hassan from Michigan. You'll have Dotson from Penn State. Dotson's another guy. I don't know where Dotson's gonna fall though, but he's another guy that if you can get him in the second round, you get him in the second round because he's a jump ball type of guy. Like he's gonna go up and get it. See, the thing with Jordan Davis is that he's already slimmed down. That's the funny part. I think people don't understand. Like he came to Georgia at like 390. He's slimmed down. And he's like at 360 now. I mean, like so you can't teach bigness. Like he's just big. Like his body weight isn't gonna come off that fast. He's gonna be at least 350. I think that'd be his like solid weight.
Let me ask you this: how bad did the conditioning during that Alabama game concern you?
He's done that his whole year though. He's only been on. He doesn't play every snap. That's the thing about like Jordan Davis has never been. I'm gonna play all 4 snaps. So everybody who's watching that game that's not used to seeing that is just like, why is Jordan Davis only playing 2 snaps? He's only really played 2 snaps all year. Like he's not a 3. He's a 3 down. He's not gonna be out there. He's a run stuffer, and he's gonna sit there and hold you in the pocket. Like you're not gonna go up the middle in the pocket with Jordan Davis. So just think about you got Grady, Marlon, and you get another edge this draft unless you keep Fowler. You got Grady, Marlon, Jordan Davis, and I mean that's 3. That's a 3-man front, and you put a linebacker like Michael Walker. You let him game. He doesn't gain weight all year. Put him at edge or Kaminsky at edge. And tell me that team doesn't hold you in the pocket. You're not running away from that team because they're still our edges are fast and Jordan Davis is going to shock a lot of people when he runs a sub 540. I think people aren't going to be surprised. He's going to run like a 4.8, 4.9.
I think if he runs a 4.8, good Lord, good Lord. But
he was keeping up with quarterbacks this year. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, he's got some speed on him. Like, it's kind of scary.
I think the best way to utilize Davis in this system is you put him in there on first downs because the odds of a run on first down is extremely high. You rotate him out on second downs, put Anthony Rush in there, and then you put him back in there for third downs. You basically give him that little bit of a breather in between first and third. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he can really get after that quarterback because you want like – a fully rested Jordan Davis is a scary thing.
Man, I think people got so scared, and this is the thing. This is y'all be quiet on this. Y'all heard this from this is just from me and Vlad. Jordan Davis conditioning. Y'all being scared about his conditioning is gonna make him drop in the draft. So tweet that stuff out. Make this. If you see we're not gonna be top 10, and you be like, man, Jordan Davis is having a just tweet it at random. Just say something like that because people are listen to you. Because let's be honest, Jordan Davis is not. He's in shape. He's just John. Vita Vey doesn't play 3 snaps most times. Vita Vey, you see Vita Vey play a series or at least play one, one 3 down, and then if they get the first down, he goes out for a couple plays and comes back in. These are big human beings,
And
y'all.
let's just say, let's just say, for argument's sake, Jordan Davis is not conditioned, right? Guess what this NFL, system is going to do? This NFL, conditioning system is going to do. It's going to whip him into shape. Guarantee it. And if that's the only question mark about Jordan Davis coming out, I'm taking him all day long in the first. That's what I was saying. Like Tyrone was saying. Like, yeah, put that word out there that he's not conditioned or whatever. Because like I was saying, if we can like trick, the Browns into trading up for like Sam Howell, and because they think Baker Mayfield fell off, and then get that 17th pick and an extra second, and then still pick up Davis because people think he's not conditioned. I don't care what else they do with the draft. That alone right there would have just killed it for me.
Yeah. Like you okay, I'm gonna get to you. Mafia, I see your comment. Kaminsky at edge. Okay, we can talk about that for a little bit. Kaminsky at edge. Oh, that was a heartwarming scene. Like, if you guys know Devontae, who comes on the show a lot, Devontae's been telling us in general, just put him at edge. Let me see Kaminsky at edge.
Yep.
And he was right.
I never understood for a moment why Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff felt they needed to put him at defensive tackle. That man's athletic testing was some of the craziest I have ever seen for his size. That man had like 99th percentile in like everything. It was insane.
We didn't have a competent coaching staff at all. So
like when you get a dude that's like 275 that can like move like that, you stick him at D end and you just tell that tackle, look, more, athletic me better, basically. Like I'm saying, like most,
like you gotta unathletically beat me. Like if you don't have the right athletics and I come around the edge, you're not getting me. Like that's his kind of sort of thing.
The thing about it is, it's like him moving as fast as he does and being as big as he is creates massive kinetic force. So it single-handedly overwhelms a lot of these tackles. Like they can't handle that because it's like it's one thing to be 275 and run like a 5'10". It's a whole other ball game if you're 275 and run like a 4'7", because it's like the kinetic force you're getting off the line is crazy, and a lot of tackles can't handle that.
I want to get to you. So Jordan Davis, I'll put it like this. Like you because you said something else, Mafia. You were saying, is he going to stun or just power? When you're 6'6", was he 365 now or something like that? Let me go look this up.
Yo, if he runs like a 4.8 at the combine, being like 360, like I said, that kinetic force that he can generate, being that big, moving that fast, I literally can't think of a player that could put. Even Aaron Donald can't put that kind of oomph behind, a snap. Like that is like inhuman. Like that's how crazy that is.
6'6", 340 is what he's at right now. So, and I really think he's heavier than that. I think this was what he was at before at the beginning of the season. I think he gained some weight. So let's just say he's 6'6", 350. Let's just throw out 350. And he just won the Defensive Player of the Year. First off, he just won the Ben Kurt. So he's literally the best defensive player in the country. And everybody, all these Alabama fans that want to talk about Will Anderson and all of that, don't even bring him up because it's a really different when you try to put an edge versus a nose guard. I'm gonna look at Shakir. Isn't he huge? I think he's a taller one too. 2 blockers every play. Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he's
Oliver, Vic, and Tack. Oh yeah, Vic, Tack, and Kaminsky. Yeah, Tack. Thing about that is so funny because Tack probably would have been really good if he was in position with this team. With talent we had, he would have been. Plus Julio with the Jones trade. Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I'll go back up. He's talking about trading Calvin. Yeah, I think he's just big, man. That sounds very accurate. Sounds good to me. Some same with Kyle Pitts. Yeah, when he ran a 4.4, that was scary. That. I don't think if you understand. He's six. He's like 6'6" 2, and
He's
he's running
almost
a 4.4.
he's like six. He's like 6'6.5". This man's almost 6'7". Like he's
Yeah,
insane.
and he's running a 4.4, and he probably could have ran a faster one. He probably could have ran close to a 4.3.
The
So
what makes that so crazy is like think about it like an airplane, for example. Like the reason why airplanes are kind of a tube shape is because when they're coming down, it creates less force, like less actual like force on the front of the plane, so it can cut through air. Now
yeah,
think about it. If you're 5'10" and you're running in a straight line, all that wind coming against you creates, force against your body. So, but the thing about it is you're only 5'10", so there's not much surface room there. So that's why you see more players that are smaller run fast, like 4.4s, 4.3s all the time, right? But
yeah,
the thing about it is you're almost 6'7". That's way more surface area for this wind to, barrel against whenever you're running. And so you have way more force working against you when you're running. So the fact that you're in a 4.4 almost set or 6'7", that was insane.
yeah. That's the crazy part. Yeah, he's coming. I don't even want to talk about Williams because they Todd McShay had us taking him at 8, and everybody was like, we have way too many holes besides receiver. And I don't think I want another receiver out of Alabama. We don't have the best of luck with them. So you know, he'll be the next. I see. That's the thing. I don't know if we can call him Randy Moss. I think he's just like I think he's more like Calvin Johnson, but he's just faster.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'd take Calvin Johnson over Randy Moss.
Yeah, I think he's like Calvin, but just way faster. And he's got he's a tight end, so he's just like Tony or like Shannon Sharp is the closest I can think of. Like Shannon Sharp in his prime in Denver when he was like top speed, was catching over folk. That's what I see out of Kyle Pitts happening. Like I think he's just gonna turn into somebody crazy, man. Um, I don't think he did. I really don't think he did. I don't think he got out of bounds. I think they just called him out of bounds because I think he scored that as a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And his blocking, he has really improved all around because remember your boy was saying he a little too light in his butt, Cam Jordan, and then Cam Jordan didn't even get a sack. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like he goes against Dante Fowler in practice. He goes against good like y'all. Everybody knows you all talk crap about Dante Fowler, but Dante Fowler when he's hot and when he's getting it going, he's one of the best DNs out here, and he's not in. It's all about positioning for a lot of these guys because we saw him last year and we're so mad at how bad he was doing, but he was so out of position, and that wasn't just what he did. And this year it was injury wise, he got hurt, so he had a problem with that, but other than that, bro, he's not bad. It's just we haven't seen him at full potential. I think that's what we were expecting him to be, the Dante Fowler in LA or in Jacksonville, and we just didn't get that.
I call that the Aaron Donald effect.
Yeah.
That line is just flat better than ours too.
I mean,
So
you got Leonard Floyd on the other side, which UGA alum. You got Aaron Donald in the middle. I can't think of that other D tackle's name, and then you had Dante Fowler. Like, bro, that team was they really should have won that Super Bowl. That really makes me mad when I think about how they lost that Super Bowl because they really should have won that Super Bowl, really and truly.
but
Pitts, I hope he does. I hope Pitts goes for I hope Pitts goes for like 20.
yeah,
I want him to have at least 100 yards this game. Like I want a long touchdown though. I want him to catch like at the 40 and score a touchdown. Like just something crazy for fantasy.
the thing about Pitts too is a lot of these teams. Like when you look at his stats, the two things that I want to see this season is I want to see us beat the Saints a second time, and I want to see Pitts get 1,000 yards. Like right now, he needs to average 58 yards a game in order to reach that 1,000-yard threshold. It's like 58.2 yards, right?
Yeah.
So, and like I was telling Tyrone, that would just be like an astronomical boost to his confidence as a player because he would literally be the all-time leading receiver as a rookie for tight ends in NFL history. He has a shot at that. and to have that just kind of on your shoulder, like, yeah, look at that, y'all ain't doing that. Travis Kelsey didn't do it. None of these crazy, these crazy tight ends out here. So to have that boost would like launch him into like the stratosphere as far as like his potential next year. Like that step could potentially be insanely big.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jordan Davis. Um, I'm looking at the one game, and this is the one play I want people to go look at. Go look at his game versus UAB. I know it's like a small level school, but it's one play I want you to look at. He chased down Tyler Johnston, which is their starting quarterback. A good quarterback. Not like he's a bad quarterback, because mind you, UAB is in the bowl game right now. UAB wasn't a bad team. Let's be honest. They just played a better, they could have beat a D1 school. UAB could have beat a D1 FCS school. I think they're FCS. He's 6'2", 215, right? Redshirt senior, all of that. He tried to hit the edge, and Jordan Davis literally caught him on the line. I go back and watch that play. I want people to see his real speed. He literally he tried to turn the edge, and Jordan Davis caught him before he could turn the edge. At 6'6", 340. Like that's in like ridiculous amount of speed. Because that guy's supposed to be faster than him by a mile. He's supposed to lap him. And to see him catch him and on a not even on a straight line, he had to catch him almost at an angle and caught him right at the line of scrimmage. Like that's ridiculous amounts of speed. You're supposed to be able to get around a D lineman. He's supposed to be diving at your ankles to grab you. He tackled him. Like that, it's just ridiculous. It's really scary. Are you drafting DN, DB, O-line, or D-Tech? I'm taking Jordan Davis with the first pick. I think that's the only way you can go.
I mean, I look at it this way. Like I was saying earlier, if one of the top 3 edges are there, I'm taking that. If Evan Neal's there, I would potentially, think about grabbing him because, you could stick him at right tackle once Matthews hangs it up. Now you got your franchise left tackle already in house, right?
Yeah.
The DB, honestly, DB could be a dark horse. Like you pick up what's his name? Oh goodness.
From who?
LSU? No, the other dude.
It's about 5 of them at DB that I can think of. You got to tell me the school. I probably know.
I'm trying to think of his name. Booth.
Oh yeah, Booth is he's another dark.
Yeah, Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. Like he could be like a dark horse if he's there because then that gives you like kind of a shutdown secondary. But like my ideal situation, like if I was to like set up a perfect scenario, like I was saying, is let that noise about Jordan Davis come out, about him not being conditioned or whatever. Let his draft stock plummet a little bit. You trade back to like the Browns to 17. You get like an extra second round pick. You get Davis at 17, and then you get an extra second round pick. That would be like I wouldn't even care what they did the rest of the draft. Like that would have just like solidifiedly killed it.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. But I want people to really think about how good their first draft class was. Everybody in this draft class has made great improvements this season. Shoot, we know Richie's probably gonna have to start next week. So that's we get to see him act as much as y'all guys want to see him play. Richie's gonna start. Jalen Mayfield's already starting. Ogundeji has been playing he's been playing great football. I said Mayfield. Those are Darby's special team specialist, except for last week he did that dumb play. Who else? That's 4. Who else? Who am I missing?
I mean, Avery Williams has even been doing okay at returner.
Yeah, Williams. I mean, he's been doing good in the slot corner. So, of course, Pitts. We all know Pitts, and I think I'm missing one more. I can't even, but they're all doing something good. Oh, Hall. And Hall's not doing bad. So, this was a killer draft. Mm-hmm. Really, it was a killer draft. Markeith asked, "What are your overall thoughts about the Falcons?" We're gonna go running back this year. I think last year. I don't know, because last year I feel like we could have won and got Chuba, in like the fourth, in like the sixth round instead of getting Avery. But we got a return man because Avery Williams is actually been really good at returning kicks, which he's been doing at Boise. It's a lot of good running backs here. The thing about this draft, this has been kind of this draft is gonna be fun. I'll put it like this: you guys go to FILA. I'm gonna put a community pad. If you subscribe to FILA, go to Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. I'm gonna put a community tab up. What every person I'm gonna put on my tab is gonna say, put your draft picks. And whatever you put in there, me and Vlad, I've sent it to Vlad. Me and Vlad will look at them. We'll give you our honest opinions. We're gonna start that more towards the, I guess I'll say the August.
I mean,
I'm like, go ahead.
You legitimately could get a top 100 running back like in the second or in the third round this year because you got like Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State, you got Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M,
you got Haskins out of Michigan. Yeah. James Cook. I think Zeus is gonna come out this year from Georgia. Both our running backs are. I'm telling you, bro, you can get a top 100 running back in like the fourth round.
You got Breece Hall out of Iowa State. You got Kenner Williams out of Notre Dame. Like that's. There's a lot of guys this year. So, heck, you could probably even snag one in the fourth. You could get a steal this year at running back. So, 100% we'll be getting a running back.
Running the ball, Mafi. I think running the ball is really going to hurt. They don't have a D-line. Like, their D-line is so depleted. Run the ball at them. And I like how you said screen pass and screens too. But run the ball. Run. I want to. Yeah, that's crazy. That's another crazy. He's only 20. He graduated a year before I did. That's so crazy to me to think about. Like, dude I'm 20. He's 21. He's playing in the NFL. Like, that's like crazy to think. Mayfield's like the same age too. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
You just made me feel so old when you said that. I graduated in 2005.
Oh wow, yeah. I graduated in 19. I got the year right before COVID. I got the good graduation year.
But I think like Tyrone said, like the key to this match is to basically run the ball at them, like 100%. You run the ball at them, and then you punish them over the middle of the pits. Like you get those play calls over the middle of the pits, and then you basically set that up by running the ball.
Yeah. Are we watching college football this weekend? I will. I ain't nothing else to look at. So, and Friday night, Markeith, I'm doing it Friday. Oh, I'm covering Georgia signing day tomorrow. So y'all get it, just go to FILA. You a Georgia fan, go over to FILA. You'll get another call on Tyrone tomorrow. Gonna talk about the signings. Those great flips from Florida. We had a lot of good flips from Florida. Sign today. Yeah, I think Hawkins should start. He probably start that position. I think on the depth chart he's behind. I think him.
I think another key component of this game on the opposite side of the ball is going to be kind of what they did to Cam essentially. Is you obviously you want to get pressure on him, but you have your secondary because Garoppolo he's been like he hasn't been playing too well, but it's Garoppolo, right? You punish him like you did Cam. Essentially, you take the ball away. So Terrell gets another interception. Hawkins can go back there and snag one. And I genuinely think that you could put like Dante Fowler on that left side of the D line and then punish that right tackle and get pressure, or Ogundeji, somebody on that other side to kind of pressure. And I think blitzing too will be a big thing. Basically, you want to get as much pressure on Garoppolo as possible because the more pressure he gets, because he's already subpar at absolute best. Like you get pressure on him, you turn him into a terrible QB, and then you pick him off, and then you turn him into points. Like I think that'll be a big thing for the defense this game.
Yeah. I want to shout out Georgia State. They're the only team playing on Christmas Day at 2:30. So shout out, even though I'm going to be watching basketball. Shout out Georgia State. I see. Okay, what's up, Jamal? You're the only Saints fan that comes in here. God, in May. I've been out of high school for 3 years now. That's kind of scary.
I'm wondering how Mickey Loomis is gonna make that cap work.
No, he got these flexible contracts I've never heard of that he can just put it out of nowhere. If you play quarterback, I got to pay you quarterback money, but you play running back, nah, I'm good.
That man down there in the bayou, friggin' putting curses and shit on people.
Yeah, bro. How we build a current foundation. I want to go back to this one, Marquise. I don't know. If you look at how we draft this year, we drafted a lot more East Coast. I understand we went out and got Hall, and we went out and got Avery Williams at the Mountain West, and those were like lower level tier. Not those weren't guys that I really was not expecting to get Darren Hall or Avery Williams. I was not expecting that, but to get them and to see production from them is really nice. So, but we can see where Terry's kind of, GMs all have different sources. They all got different places where they really want to go recruit. Not Georgia, but Atlanta's been to multiple Michigan games. So that means we still, another guy we really nobody's really talked about is Ojabo. I don't think anybody's even paying attention to Ojabo.
Ojabo is like another target. Like if they traded down in the first and like snatched him at like 20 or something like that, that would be a steal.
Ojabo's really nice. Like we've been at so many Michigan games because the guys that report who's there. We've been at so many Michigan games. I'm just like, man, they're going to go see Aiden. They're going to go see Aiden. Ojabo is really just sitting there, and he has a lot of traction, but he's not a top 10, top 15 pick kind of sort of. So, that would be kind of sort of that would be really be cool.
Because
I can see it, Ojabo.
Yeah, I legit could too. Because if I would take him between like that 18 and like 24, 25 range. Like if you could get him in there, like trade back, get an extra like second or the extra second or something, and then trade back, get Ojabo like at 20, between 20 and 25 or so, then that would be another like steal. Like let's just say like arguments, like let's say Jordan Davis is gone, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel, like I said, unless one of those three big pass rushers are there, like I'm trading back, period, right? Because this team needs like talent everywhere. Like, so I'm wanting as much draft capital as possible. So you trade back like the Browns, like I was saying, or heck, even who's picking at 20 right now? Is it Buffalo Bills, right? Yeah, it's the Bills.
Okay.
So it's like you maybe trade back with Buffalo or something and pick up Ojabo at like 20.
Yeah,
killed it because then you can go into the second round already having your pass rusher established, and now you can get your your running back if like Spiller or Walker's there, right?
Yeah, if James Cook, and this is crazy, if James Cook is sitting there, because they asked James Cook, they asked him like, what do you do different than your brother? He said, I catch better than him, right? But he said, I do a lot of stuff to emulate my brother. Imagine having a Dalvin Cook-esque player in Atlanta with this running game.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm a Georgia homer, and y'all know I'm a Georgia homer, but I just love every kid coming out of Georgia next. If Pickens doesn't leave, if Pickens stays, which is funny, because I think if we win a national championship, a lot of them are going. If Georgia wins a national championship, they got their ring, they know they're gonna get drafted, they'll go. But if we don't, then that's the only thing about it. It's like some guys gonna want to come back and try to win one, especially with the guys we got coming in next year.
If Pickens comes out, like I think his injury history will drop into like the fourth, and if you can get Pickens in like the fourth, that dude is a legit like first round receiver. Like he is nasty.
Yeah. I'm trying to see Kaminsky's combine numbers because I know it was something crazy.
Yeah. But like like I was saying, the main reason why I'm such a big advocate of trading back is because, like I was saying, this is actually a decent year for linebackers too. Like you have Devin Floyd, you're not gonna Nakobe Dean, you got Brandon Smith out of Penn State, you got Christian Harrison out of Alabama, which I think Christian Harrison out of Alabama would be like the perfect middle for this defense.
Yeah, you got somebody. This is such a deep defensive It's such a deep defensive draft. Like, bro, you're gonna get first round talent in every round almost.
See, that's another reason too. Is like this, like Kobe, he was saying, you legitimately have so many defensive options this year to get an extra second is essentially getting an extra first, because you spend it on defense in round two, you've essentially got another starter. Like, it would be nuts. And that it kind of harpens back to the whole Julio trade. Like, yeah, we needed to get it off the books. But here's the thing, though. They knew how deep this defensive class is. They've known for over a year how deep this class is. So you best believe they're trying to get these picks to establish this defense, because the hallmark of a great offense is a defense to shut out games. You can have an offense that puts up 40 points, but if your defense is giving up 45, nothing matters. So it's like every great defense is built off the back of a great or every great offense is built off the back of a great defense, if you get what I'm saying.
Kaminsky literally, he had a 4.69 40-yard. Yeah, he was, and that was at 286. Yeah. That was at 286. He was 106.
JJ, to give you an idea of how athletic that is, JJ Watt at 290 only ran a 4.8 at the combine.
He ran a 4.6. He bench pressed 22 times, had a vertical jump of 33 and a half, broad jump of 116. His 3-cone drill was 7 seconds, and his 20-yard shuttle was 4.38.
Yeah, that shuttle was ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I'm just saying, man. AD Mitchell gonna be, he's gonna be a super. Wherever AD Mitchell goes, he's gonna be ridiculous, bro. That's what I'm saying. Georgia has so much talent. You gotta look at Georgia next year. Like, you really gotta be a Georgia. Like, Nakobe Dean's gonna be he's gonna be top 10, really and truly. He has a good Orange Bowl versus Michigan, and then he's already had a really good game versus Alabama. Has another really good game. Yeah, he's gonna be up there. Because 7 picks not enough, in my opinion, and I approve this team. I think if you trade Calvin, right, you're going to get a second. You're going to get another second.
Easy.
There's a way. If there's a will and a way, you got that Tennessee pick, and if you trade Calvin for that second pick, you trade up back into the first round. Really and truly. And you just keep your own pick in the second round. That's how I see it.
I think the minimum for Ridley I'm taking is like a Julio Jones type of trade, a second and a fourth. And the reason why I feel you can get that is, like, yeah, he's nowhere near on the level of Julio, but he's also like got another at least 5 years in the league left in him. At least 5 more years.
I mean, let's be honest with you guys. Kaminsky got drafted in 2019. He still has 2 more years here in Atlanta. So you got a good, and you put him at DN and let him really develop out like an outside linebacker / DN. Bro, he's going to turn into something crazy.
See, the Kaminsky as an outside linebacker, I think, is an ideal, like a perfect, position for him, because his broad jump is only 33 inches, so he doesn't really have like that elite burst. But here's the thing about it: he has elite speed. Like, this man is almost 4 pounds from being 290, running a 4.6. Like, you give him like a few steps to get up to speed. That's like a freaking bull charging at you. Like, that is insane. That's essentially like 400 pounds coming at you because of the kinetic force generated off 4.6 at 290.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, like you said, athletes are getting crazy and crazy every year. It's incredible. Really and truly, you're not lying. So I'm gonna get. I guess I'll get you guys. You see the banner on the bottom. I guess I'll announce it. FILA has now partnered with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a betting service like FanDuel, any guys you can think of, but it's different because you pick players and they have certain pass yards, rushing yards, scoring, no matter what sport it is. You choose them, you get your over and your under, and that's how you win. We have 100% deposit match. If you use the code FILA, FILA on prizepicks.com, when you sign up, they will give you 100% deposit match. You deposit 20, they're gonna give you 20 back. No matter how much you give, they will give it up to $100. They will give you the money. They will match your deposit. So I say take advantage of it. The only reason I say that because I want to get into what they have. Matt Ryan's predicted passing yards is 215 and a half, and Jimmy Garoppolo's is 245 and a half. If anything, I'm taking the over on Matt Ryan. As much as I think we're gonna run, I still think I take the over on Matt Ryan. Let me see. He's going to play conservative. I would. Well, I hope not. If I'm betting the over on Matt Ryan, I hope he's not playing conservative. But I think Matt in his last couple of games. If I go, let me go look at it. It's gonna be. I think he's gonna get 200. I think you can beat this. You can beat this team by throwing the ball. Let's be honest. You can beat this team by throwing the ball. But do we need to throw the ball? No. I'd rather us run the ball and just run it down their throats. But last week, Matt had 190 yards. Week before versus Tampa, he had 297. Jacksonville, he had 190. He only had 153 versus New England. Dallas was 170. That was a horrible game. But New Orleans, 343. Last we lost to Carolina. That was a bad game. Miami, he had 336. New York, he had 342. Washington, even though we lost that game, he had 283. I mean, the Giants, he had 243. The first Tampa game, he had 300. So I don't see him not getting 215 yards. Let's be honest. I just can't see him not getting 215 yards. What do you think?
I mean, when you look at like Matt Ryan as a player, I think he still has the record for the most consecutive games over 200 passing yards in like history right now, like or something crazy like that. So like I don't really see anything that says that he's not getting these yards.
Yeah, the weirdest I think, and then they have other people on here. So if you don't, we just want to bet on Matt Ryan or Garoppolo. Aaron Rodgers on here for 270 versus Baltimore. Russell Wilson's on here for 235.5 versus LA. You know, they have, if you got Cordell Patterson on here, if you want to bet running backs. Cordell Patterson, I think they accept for 50 yards, I think, in the game. And I'm probably still taking that. I'm taking that if really we're going to be honest and truly. Dalvin Cook is up for 85 versus Chicago, and I think he's
going to get 100 easy.
Yeah. Cordell is at 51.5 for this week in rush yards.
I think he gets that easy.
Yeah, I think he's over. I think he gets over 51. So or you got Joe Mixon here with 65 versus Denver. I think he's gonna definitely get over that. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think we're gonna trade really. I think I can see that. I just want to see where he's at mentally next year.
That's what I said earlier. Like, you know, you definitely bring him back on the 5th-year option because, you know, you trade him this year coming up, but it doesn't make any sense because worst case, let's say you sign him to the 5th-year option. Worst case, he doesn't play worth anything, right? Then you're just essentially right back in this position, right? So you didn't really lose anything. But then let's say he goes out and he balls out and he gets like, you know, 1,400 yards or something crazy. Then you still trade him. Then you could probably demand a first for him, like a first and like a fourth or something. Like you could get like way more compensation, because as much as it's not really how good really does or doesn't do. It's the fact that he's not built for this team. Arthur Smith like these big, you know, possession receivers that can go up over the middle and get these jump balls basically. And that's not real. Think of like basically like a Kyle Pitts, really, really tall, really big, able to go up and just get snag balls, like these 50-50 balls. And that's just not Calvin Ridley. I mean, the man's scared of contact, not really going to jive with the system. So I think once he proves himself, you cash in on that.
Yeah, I think Matt. I don't like Matt. I think at this point in his career, I kind of don't like Matt going from under center, but I understand it. So it's just like I can like I said, I understand it. I can see why they're doing it. I don't think Arthur is going to be concerned. Yeah, I think Arthur this week is just. I gotta show. I think this is a kind of sort of like a confidence game for Arthur because, mind you, like I said, they're all from the same coaching tree. They all grew up with Daddy Shanahan. They all learned from Daddy Shanahan. I mean, they were in Washington together. with RG3 when they had Kyle and he was still up there with Kyle. He was up there with all of those guys. So that's what I'm saying. It's this week is gonna be it's gonna be a good game this week, really and truly.
This is kind of like Arthur Smith's like I'm gonna stun on you kind of game. Like, look,
Yeah, I mean, we gotta win this game.
yeah,
Like, we can be cocky about it. Like when we play Green Bay, that's another game where he's gonna flex out against because we already had that little thing in the preseason with him and LaFleur. So I mean, that's the thing about it. I think they're going. It's just like anybody from that coaching tree, they want to beat each other, and I think that's gonna be the fun part about this game. They want to beat each other, really and truly. Take to make him ball out rather than wide receiver. I mean, we tried that with Julio, and it didn't really work when we got Calvin.
I
So
still think honestly, like regardless of what happens to Ridley, I still think we're gonna like take, especially if a guy like George Pickens is there like in the fourth or something, like you definitely take him all day long. And regardless of how Ridley plays, I think they still trade him because, like you were saying, he just doesn't fit the system. But that's going to push him to play better, right? And
yeah,
the better he plays, the more the more compensation we get for him. So it's like it's really a win-win. Now you've got this other guy you drafted that you're developing that can step in. It's like I think George Pickens, like his floor is like a good two. Like the dude's nasty. Like he potentially could be like a number one receiver that you could get in the fourth just because of injury history, as long as he stays healthy. Like he is crazy good.
really will be back at the 4th year salary next year. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Um, we should just move on for Ridley. It's a new era in Atlanta.
It's
We
not
try to
even.
bring him in. I think that's like saying, okay, it's a new era. Let's get rid of Matt. Let's just get rid of everybody. But I understand what you're saying. Like, let's get rid of him, as in, let's just get, if you don't want to be down, you don't need to be with us. I see it like that. Because if you don't really want to be in Atlanta, then don't just say it. No, don't try to sugarcoat it. So
I think honestly, people think he's doing this out of some spite. I think something super personal happened like that. Is keeping him out. I don't think it's anything malicious at all. Personally, I think that there's some like legitimate, like somebody close to him passed away or something. Like something's hitting him hard right now, right?
yeah,
And because I don't care. I don't care what team I don't care if you're playing for Jacksonville, if you're playing for the Texans. I don't care who you're playing for, right? Nobody in their right mind is going to literally cost themselves millions out of spite.
yeah. Hey, Miss Maggie, how you doing?
Hey, Miss
Um,
Maggie.
George Pickens dropping. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
legit.
That's a real
Yeah,
because DK really shouldn't have dropped how he dropped, and he
yeah.
dropped. I think people I feel like it was just a scary. I think people were just scared. I guess because he was so big, but dog, he was really good at Ole Miss. Like he wasn't a bad receiver.
DK Metcalf is probably one of the most physical receivers in the NFL. Like, and
Yeah.
like, that man was like chiseled out of friggin' like marble. Like that dude was like crazy, and he
Bro,
knows.
when he tells his story about him dad having him lift weights at like 5 years old, it's just like, okay, yeah, I see why your muscle mass is where it's at. And fans, we have to be patient still. Yeah, we all know Matt has some struggles, when he's got a new coach his first year, but I think at this point, what Arthur Smith has done this year is just so impressive to me that he can't do anything wrong in my eyes. I know he has some questionable calls like last week in Carolina when he let the clock go down to 3 and then ran a play. Everybody was like, "What are you doing?" Like certain stuff like that. But I think he's still learning. I think is that he just thought it wasn't gonna be that much. I think he thought he was gonna run the clock out and he didn't, and then he was like, "Oh shoot, let me call a timeout." But
The thing about it is though, like a lot of people look at some of Arthur Smith's plays and they like, what is he thinking? But I kind of look at it like, yeah, there's like that questionable call with the clock management, like that. Those are like clear cut, like what are you doing, like and I like even those I can forgive because he's a first year head coach. This is just it's a major jump going from a coordinator up to a head coach. So
yeah,
it's like, but even some of the play calls that are kind of like like these gadget plays and stuff, right? that was, I kind of look at it like that was him trying to see what he could get away with this roster essentially, like that. But like some of these gadget plays potentially could actually work pretty effectively if you had the proper personnel. But like I was saying earlier, you don't have talent on this team. Like they're literally the worst team in the NFL as far as talent's concerned. I mean, they're worse than the Texans right now as far as talent's concerned. So just be patient with this team. Thomas Dimitrov, left us in a dire strait with this cap. So it'll take a little while for the actual like cap to sort itself out. But I promise you, think about this. The potential of this season can be 9-8. He's going 9-8 with the worst roster in the NFL. Imagine what he's going to be like when he actually gets the proper dudes in here to do what he wants.
It's gonna be scary, man. That's gonna be so
Yeah.
scary. Like
it could be some like Carolina, like 2015 Carolina teams up, running through here.
Yeah, like we can make a super run with this team. And I know everybody's talking about, well, what do you do with Matt in these years while you're building? Let Matt be Matt. If Matt, what you do and this is kind of sort of what I was saying preseason wise, pitch count. Everybody knows what a pitch count is. We don't need him going all season like everybody was like, oh, he needs to play preseason because this is a new coach. Y'all want to go out there and waste Matt's arm for however many throws he's out there for, and we got a season going. I know everybody's like, well, you can go young and no.
Listen to this. Go on, like anybody that owns a Madden game, put it on all Madden and try to bomb the ball every play and see if you win that game.
Yeah.
Now, that ain't going to work in a video game. It damn sure ain't going to work in real life. So you set those bomb play. That's why that's why those bomb plays are part of highlights, because it's like an entire game can be setting up for that one play. So, as long as Matt Ryan can still put it up like 40 yards one time a game, or heck, not even one time a game, maybe one time every 3 or 4 games, to kind of just, keep the defense on the opposite team honest, then you're fine. And he's more than capable of that. Like you're like, you don't win in this system by bombing it. You win it by punishing them between the 10 and 20 yard mark. Like you dink and dunk your way up the line, way up the field. You run the ball. You maybe throw a ball deep once or twice a game at absolute max, because like I was saying, your play action sets up for these deep balls. And if you don't have the play action, you don't have the deep ball.
Yeah. That's why I say you gotta have the play action, especially versus this you can.
As far as what Clay's asking there, if one of the big 3 or pass rushers are there, you take one of them, like period. If they're not, like I said earlier, you trade back with somebody like Buffalo or Cleveland or somebody. Speaking of Buffalo, Josh Allen falling off, that kind of trips me out. But anyways, I digress. And then you pick up somebody like Davis at like 18 or 20, right? And then you get you get a second round pick, and then you kind of hope that somebody like a Drake London drops to like that first pick in the second round, because that would probably be the steal of the draft, because that man is ridiculous. But like worst case, you could pick up somebody like I was saying earlier, like a George Pickens in like the 4th, and you legitimately could have like a number 1 receiver in the 4th. And the reason he drops to the 4th is because of just injury history, because he's tore his ACL and whatnot. But as far as like when he's on the play and he's productive, like this man is like ridiculous, and he's huge too. So he fits the system perfectly.
Yeah, I like this question. That's what I say. I say this about these first year head coaches, right? So Dan Campbell is literally 1-10 in Detroit. Robert Saleh is 2-13 now or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is the new head coach?
Buddy up in Detroit.
That's Dan Campbell. He's
yeah.
113 and then 112-1 or something crazy score line. I think that's the thing about it. Like, and Bieniemy had some struggles when you had Mahomes being Mr. Turnover, and so they had to correct that. So it's like you can say okay, the only person that's had success, and he hasn't had that. I mean, he's had success enough to where people are, want to give him the coach of the year is and San Diego, not San Diego, Los Angeles, the Chargers, their new head coach. And I mean, look at the talent he has on that roster, though. He has a good team. Like he didn't come into a bad situation like some of these other head coaches. Like Houston's head coach, I probably wouldn't even have taken that job when they offered me to it
That
because
man walked into a buzzsaw.
yeah, he walked into a situation that he couldn't control. Like like you can go meet with Deshaun Watson, but he don't want to play for the team no more. He don't want to play the team no more. So that's the thing. Like he walked into a bad situation, and so one thing about this team is that we didn't walk into a bad situation. I think they knew him and Terry knew what they were going to come into when they got here.
The thing about Eric Bieniemy is the whole rumors about how Andy Reid was the one that was really calling the shots. I don't really know what to make of that, but every rumor has a sliver of truth somewhere in the rumor. So I kind of look at it like, is this Andy Reid, taking the reins and being like, yo, here, let show these coaches what you can really do, and just let Bieniemy take over play calling this year 100%. Is this Andy Reid falling off? It's really hard to tell. So you can really only speculate like what he would have done in Atlanta. You can go back and look, but like those were my two picks: was Eric Bieniemy or Arthur Smith. And basically, I was up in the air on both of them. And about at the 11th hour, when I really sat down and dug into them, it was clearly Arthur Smith's job, because it just everything kind of lined up with like his philosophy. There was no real rumors about, is it him calling them, or is it, what was the head coach in Tennessee? Goodness, what's his name?
Very Venerable, not Venerables. What is it? It is Brett. It's something like that.
But either way, it wasn't like these rumors are like, is it him or is it his head coach calling the plays? It's like, because like every rumor has a sliver of truth somewhere, so it's like, I don't think he would have, but that's just me. I think Arthur Smith was the correct play or the correct call for this. I mean, to be real with you, if anything, he was the right call for this team, just for the simple fact that he literally got Dean Pease out of retirement.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's something that people don't understand. Dean Pease was sitting at home with his grandkids, and he told the story. He's like, "Yeah, I've been with my granddaughter, taking her around Tennessee."
That's the thing. It's not like he fell off and they fired him. Nah, he was like, I'm good with football right now. I'm taking a step back. He was still playing at an elite coaching level when he stepped back. So the fact that Arthur Smith was able to bring him in alone made him the right choice.
And for him to call Arthur Smith and be like, "Hey, I want to come play with this team. I like this team."
Yeah,
showed a lot about what this team had in potential wise. I know, like people think we're older. We're not an older defense. Our defense is very young. Let's be honest. Most of these guys aren't even in their 30s yet. Grady or Dion probably the oldest people on our defense. So I don't see that's my thing. Jacksonville tried to pull out he's already been in Florida and he has such a good he has they tried to pull a fan card. I'll put it like that. Like he has the fan base supporting Florida because he he played at UF and all of that. But,
that was Jacksonville trying to play 4D chess when they were playing checkers. You feel me? So it's like, Urban Meyer, like when he was in Ohio, like pulling, my chest. It's like, I bet your chest is hurting, losing like 40 points. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like
he used to pull certain. The reason I don't like Urban Meyer, and this is why, like what you did to Florida, and then what you did to Ohio State, and you did it back to back with two different schools, and just left them boys there hanging. It was just like, I can't respect you. Like, bro, you were at Florida. You said, okay, Tebow's gone. I'm leaving with Tebow. Then you said, okay, I'm going into retirement. And then not even weeks. It had to be like 2 years. was it 2 years? I think he took off. It was
Mhm.
on joined Fox. He was on the Fox crew when they had bought the Big Ten contract. And then out of nowhere, Urban Meyer's going to Ohio State. I'm like, what? So I mean, it's this stuff like that. And then you left them when they got bad. No, I really didn't care about him at playing UGA. I will never forget the day when Georgia stormed the field and doing the first touchdown. That probably was the funnest experience ever. Um, but I
So
think like, it was only one. Okay, yeah, Blake, you would know. Yeah, you would have known. Because you was a Florida fan. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he did dip out of Utah when Alex Smith got. Like he's done this. His whole career has been. Let me get a good quarterback. I'll stay 4 years. If I don't get another good quarterback, I'm leaving. When and really and truly, you could have had Cam stay, and you would have had a really good quarterback, and you let him leave because he stole somebody lap. That's still a crazy story. Stole somebody laptop, and then he goes to Auburn and literally turns into Superman in college.
I don't give a shit if that man went up there and robbed an entire micro center. I'm not letting Cam go in college. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
forget
he
that.
was so good though, and that's the crazy
Yeah.
part. And that's the crazy part about when you watch it. You're like, man, why don't we in general just like look at Urban Meyer as a coach and be like, bro, you're not good. You're not a good human being.
He ain't loyal. That's
He's
the
not.
thing.
He's
I
really
mean,
not.
why, especially an NFL player? I mean, you got players that are 30, 35 years old. It's like these grown men being like, yo, why should I put any faith in you? I seen what you do with players. The second the ship starts sinking, you the first rat off board. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not putting my faith in you. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me one bit that Urban Meyer's letting things fall apart in Jacksonville because
Well,
these players aren't
supposedly,
stupid.
this is from Dov Kleinman. This is from the TampaBay.com. This is from Josh Lambo said Urban Meyer walked up to him while he was stretching, and then he said, "Hey, Dip, you can finish it." And kicked him in his leg while he was stretching. So
He would have got punched in the throat for that.
yeah, you would have got hit. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised it wasn't. They didn't fight because that should have been a fight. Steve Spurrier hates him, and they're like the founders of the leaders. Yeah, bro, everybody. Yeah, he might as well just end his best chance. His I don't even know, man. Like he can't even.
He needs to hang it up. His
Yeah,
reputation is so tarnished right now. There's no player
yeah,
going to
your
buy into him.
reputation at this point, you're gonna get. Oh man, I would say you would be in the College Football Hall of Fame because you won a national championship with two different teams. But like, I don't even know, man. It's so hard to even put him in that type of conversation.
It's like he reminds me of Al Bundy, still living like that 4 touchdowns in one game,
Yeah,
thing. And he's just like, look, I won 2 championships. It was like what 10 years ago. What?
yeah,
And then, the NFL is like, what have you done for me lately?
yeah. That's the thing with college football. Like, if you're in a college football board, you're like, okay, you're gonna get it. Like, because Pollock's in, so Pollock got in. We all knew Pollock was going to, but he had a great career at Georgia. Like he's a Georgia Hall of Fame where Georgia led all of that. So he was going to get in. He was going to get in the College Football Hall of Fame. We all know Herschel was going to get in college football. All of these guys that you know are solid picks are going to get in. Urban Meyer has messed up his bid in my eyes to get in. Because my thing is, you're off the field. Everybody wants to be like, oh, well, you can't judge him off the field, right? Okay, we're not judging him off the field. But what he did on the field was go 4 years with a good quarterback and then leave.
The thing about what he does off the field could give you a glimpse of what he's like behind the scenes, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like you saw him brawling on a woman in the bar. Like it's just like you can't even take that. If you just look at what he's done, like bro, it's just like you're tarnished. Like your career is tarnished at this point. Just leave it where it's at, and just go somewhere and hide. Don't even show your face unless you're getting honored somewhere. Unless you get like an Ohio State honor, which he probably will because he got a ring. he's not going to get honored at Florida, which is funny because like what he did at Florida was like, historic with all the guys he had there and the Pouncey brothers and the who was Aaron Hernandez and all of those guys. But you're not gonna get even remembered for that. The Tebow's, and I know Tebow's so hurt because that was his like coach. Like that, he loved that man. So he didn't want to recruit. He's about to go.
I mean, Tebow and Hernandez were pretty nasty in Florida. Not even gonna lie.
I've watched Florida. I've watched Georgia versus Florida my whole life. I've seen all of them. Yeah, yeah. His wife is gone. Yeah, I feel like Florida fans have a deep hate for Urban Meyer, though. I think, like Georgia fans love Mark Richt, even though, like, to be honest, it was nothing wrong. I think Mark Richt just couldn't perform, but we still love Mark Richt. Like Mark Richt, he's in the Hall of Fame with Georgia now. Like we honored him at the game. Bless him because he has Parkinson's. He just got diagnosed with Parkinson's, so sending our prayers his way and all of that. But like, I think just like we love Mark Richt. Like it's so weird to see people be like, man, I really don't like Urban Meyer and they're Florida fans. Like it's so weird to have that much hatred for an old coach. Like you still have some type of connection with your old coach in college. They do not like Urban Meyer in Florida. Like, and that's the bad thing about it. Like he won your national championship. No, Tebow won the national championship. The guys on the team won the national championship. Urban Meyer didn't win that championship.
Urban Meyer was just back. I'm here too, guys.
Yeah. When he re-retired at Lesson and he came back and worked with Dan, yeah, that like that's okay. He won too. I forgot y'all won. What 20? What was it? 20? I don't even remember. I really don't remember those national championships. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're under my age, it's really hard to remember because they were like early 2000s and we were like kids. I don't even remember. What's funny? Only championship game I really remember. And I was really deep into it was the USC versus Texas championship game. I watched that game from beginning to end, and I didn't even know who was on the team. I was just watching it to watch it. Like that game was just so interesting. It made me want to be a Texas fan. Really, I'm surprised I didn't end up being a Texas fan.
Speaking of college, I wanted to ask you something. DeMarvin Leal, right? I've been doing a bunch.
Everybody's bringing him up now. It's because he's another basically like Jordan Davis.
Yeah, my whole thing is you think he could be kicked outside to like rush, or do you think he's like a strict defensive tackle in the NFL?
How big is he? Let me see how big he is, and then I can tell you. It's gonna be if he's over
290, 6'4", 290. You think he could play like that outside linebacker, like a J.J. Watt type of role?
I'll put it like this. He'll be if he's fast enough, yeah, you can kick him outside. But I can see him being a strong side 3-4 end. That's really what I can see him being is really a really big, strong forward, like a 3-4 end. He's on the strong side. They don't run to his side a lot, but he's gonna make sure if you do run to his side, he's gonna hold the edge. I can see him doing that.
He's my dark horse for round 1 for the Falcons. Like
he's another. It's so like I'm saying, there's so much good talent, y'all. Like, bro, that's why I say when I put this. So when I say go to FILA, I mean really go over to FILA and go over there. And I'm gonna put this community tab up. If it's not tonight, it's gonna be in the morning. I'm gonna put it on there, and we're going to answer all. I'm gonna make sure if you ask a question, whatever it is you want to do. I will make sure I will give you at least when we come on the show. If we do every Wednesday this whole month, I'll give you a week. I'll give you one person we'll look at. So make sure you guys go over to FILA. It's Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Put that in on YouTube, however you put it. You guys know. Most of you guys that are in here, you guys know what FILA is. Use the community tab because interact with it at least. Give it a like. Make sure we see it. Make sure and then put those comments in there. Show us who you want so we can talk about them.
The thing about DeMarvin Leal though is like if he runs like a 4.8 at the combine, like I legitimately could see him being like an outside linebacker, right? The one thing that I was this was kind of just like a thought exercise basically I was having about comparing him to like a J.J. Watt type of player, just because when you look at Watt, and you look at DeMarvin Leal, like I see him like because Watt's tackles for loss in college was insane. Like he had like 21 like and a half like tackles for loss, right? In his last campaign. He didn't have many sacks though, right? But I was looking at DeMarvin Leal and like DeMarvin Leal's I think he has like 15 or so.
I'm about to look at it right now.
Yeah, so it's like that correlation between being able to get into the backfield, you know what I mean, that JJ Watt had. It's like, yeah, he wasn't actually turning it into production as far as sacks went, but he was still able to get that penetration, right? So I was looking at it like, well, if he's able to get behind the line of scrimmage to get these tackles for loss, if his position may have been changed up, could he turn those potential like tackles for loss into sacks because the change of position could be good for him? I don't know. It was something cool that I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that you're gonna be able to move around in this draft. Like I'm saying, this draft is fun. This draft is gonna be fun, really and truly. But we can go ahead and get out of here. Vlad, you got anything you want to shout yourself out?
I mean, if you want to give me a follow on at Vlad Tepes 490 on Twitter, I'm always up to talk football. I could sit here literally all night and talk about it in some capacity. I always love coming on the show and chopping it up with you. It's been a pleasure as always.
As always, you guys know, you already know who it is, Tyrone. Friday Night Madness. You guys know if you aren't AFN, Friday Night Madness, all of those shows we do out the week. Make sure you guys listen to them, come watch them, because we're giving you knowledge. I mean, we've been here almost 2 hours talking about everything. So you getting knowledge, you're getting what you need. Kev, K Styles, Mike, and be on here about 3 hours. So I mean, come in, listen, just sit down and watch and just listen to what we say. Because, like I said, always come to FILA though. Make sure you come to FILA. That's why I do all my groups and stuff.
Definitely check out Mike and them.
You say what?
I said definitely check out Mike and them.
Yeah, definitely check out Mike. Definitely check out Miss Maggie. All you guys, go check them out. You guys always on here. You on here, definitely listen, go watch them. Go to AFN. Go to GHSM. Go to all of our channels. Go in and just give them a follow. Listen to what we have to say because it's going to be something knowledgeable. We're not gonna give you nothing, no sugarcoating stuff. But yeah, for me, Friday Night Jackpot actually will have a sponsor now, guys. So now we'll actually have somebody we can use. You can use their pets. We use their betting points and stuff. So definitely go over there. Go over on FILA. I only do Friday Night Jackpot on FILA. If you're on Mad Mike's channel and you watch on Mad Mike's channel, come to FILA because I'm only doing Friday Night Jackpot on FILA. And hopefully, we're getting more into it. We're gonna get more and more into it, man. It's gonna be fun. But thank you again, Vlad, for coming on. Thank everybody for watching. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Let me get to my outro. Peace.